Houston and Continental Indoor Soccer League play tonight as the Pittsburgh Stingers face the Houston Hotshots. Houston coming in 6-17, and the Stingers are 6-16. I'm Bill Land along with Glenn Davis. We'll have a few extra minutes here this evening before this match gets underway. They had problems with one of the glass panels there near the goal. They've gotten that taken care of, Glenn, and we'll be underway here shortly. But a lot of activity here tonight, and one of the things that is happening right now, the honoring of the United States Little League champions that lost in the finals of the World Series to Taiwan. And this, the Northwest 45 All-Star Little League champs from here in the Houston area out of Spring. And these youngsters have been honored all over the Houston area, and rightfully so.
Boy, these guys are hitting the party circuit, I think. Here. These guys are everywhere these days. But what an accomplishment for them, Bill, playing down in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And what a great representation for the city of Houston.
And their coach, Don Turley, will have the opportunity to kick the first ball as it is here. And the fans giving a standing ovation to the Little League champs. And a great accomplishment.
How exciting for these young men here.
And a pretty good Sunday night crowd considering the records of these two clubs. And the Hotshots, in fact, attendance-wise, are 6th in the 15-team league. Think if they had a winning record.
Boy, I tell you, if they had a winning record, you know, I firmly believe there'd be a couple thousand more people in these seats here. And I think, you know, with winning comes attendance.
Those, by the way, are souvenir wiffle balls. This is not a reenactment of the L.A. Dodger baseball night where balls were thrown onto the field and lives endangered. So don't get the wrong idea here, as these kids could have a chance to see if they can hit them into the stands and go for the upper deck.
Well, I guess I can climb back from underneath the table here, can't I, Bill?
Yeah. I guess my point in the attendance is that even though this team has struggled, the marketing department and the overall attitude of the Hotshots has been one that, regardless of the team's record on the field, we're going to do everything we can to get people in the stands, and I think they've done a nice job of that this season.
Without a doubt, Bill. And the other thing is that, you know, all the games basically here at the Summit have been very entertaining, and they've been in all of the games, and some of the games have been, you know, the lapse in third quarter of 3 minutes, that's cost some games, but they've all been competitive, enjoyable, entertaining games to watch here at the Summit.
They've also got a high school band that is here tonight from Katie Taylor High School, and we'll have the national anthem for you in just a moment as Houston and Pittsburgh hook up tonight. Pico de Goli, shucking and jiving with, yes, there they are, the Katie Taylor High School band, and we appreciate their support here this evening as they're trying to create some noise here in the Summit. Houston coming in off a 7-5 loss to San Diego last night, a game in which the Hotshots led 4-1 in the third period, and that really has to hurt.
Well, and it's kind of the same old song and dance for Houston. They're up 4-1 at halftime in San Diego against the division-leading Sockers, and in a span of 4.5 minutes give up 5 goals in the third quarter and end up losing the game 7-5. And once again, it comes back to those lapses of concentration.
And the Stingers, as you take a look at Pittsburgh being introduced, are ending up a 3-game road trip, of which they have lost the last 2, or lost the first 2 of those. And to Monterrey last night, 4-6 down in Mexico, and to Detroit, 4-3. Drago, playing against his old team, scored a couple of goals, but not enough to get him over the hump. But he certainly is a guy that is a real veteran of the indoor game, as well as a fine outdoor player. And Houston will have to contend with him.
Well, Pittsburgh has had some ball possession problems, and with the acquisition of Drago, all of a sudden now they're getting a lot more of the ball, and he's getting a lot of people involved with all his passing skills. But last night they had a similar thing happen to them down in Monterrey, losing to La Raza 14-6. It was actually, I believe, 6-5 at halftime. They were down a goal, and they had a collapse in the second half, and an excellent Monterrey team then ended up blowing them out in the third and fourth quarter. But it was actually tied, I think, 6-6 at halftime. So, you know, these are two teams that have a lot of similarities and have had hard times putting full games together.
And the lights are dimmed as the Hotshots about to be introduced here. Houston. And let's take the public address feed here at the Summit and let you enjoy a little of the pregame action as they introduce the Hotshots.
Number 2, playing at defender, captain of the team, Chico Marrera. Wearing 00, goalkeeper, Terry Waldorf. Number 3, defender, Gary Young. Number 5, defender, Damian Harley. Number 6, defender, John Gardner. Number 7, forward, Enrique Samion. Number 9, midfield, Zion Allen. Number 14, midfield, Olivier Benedori. Number 16, midfield, Mark McKay. Number 17, midfield, Horacio Leone. Number 20, defender, Arash Nobu. Number 22, midfielder, Mario Rivera. Number 28, midfielder, Diego Lopez Maradona. Number 44, midfielder, Beto Dos Santos. Coach of the Houston Hotshots, Trevor Dawkins. Assistant coach, Bill McDonald. Trainer, Blaine Wilson. Team physician, David Littner.
And the Hotshots introduced along with the Stingers. Trevor Dawkins comes out, the head coach of the Hotshots, completing his first season here. 4 games to go for the Hotshots after this one, and they're hoping to end it on a plus side here starting tonight as they try to snap a 6-game losing streak. And our national anthem to be sung tonight as Jenna Kaufman is here, and we'll enjoy her rendition and then get underway with the Hotshots and the Stingers.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Outstanding job done by Jenna Kaufman on the national anthem here at the Summit in Houston. Let's take a look at the standings in the Continental Indoor Soccer League, and you'll see Houston in the basement of the Southern. San Diego with a record of 14-9, Mexico at 15-10, virtual tie, percentage points behind, and then Anaheim, Arizona, and Houston. The Eastern Division, Monterey has already clinched a playoff berth and a division title. Dallas at 16-8. Both those teams have been red hot. Monterey winning its last 4, Dallas its last 5. Then Washington, Pittsburgh, and Detroit at 4-20. And in the Western Division, Sacramento at 18-6. They've won their last 3, followed by Portland, San Jose, Las Vegas. The defending champs, Glenn, have struggled at 11-13.
Bottom end of the league there, yeah. I got to really tell you, though, I'm feeling very strong about the Monterey and Dallas teams in their group. Monterey is an exceptional team, very quick, very entertaining to watch. And Dallas is now coming into its own again. So I think those are two that, you know, with no surprise, I might be laying my hat on.
And now look at the starting lineups for tonight's game. The Pittsburgh Stingers coming in at 6-16. And they'll go with Bobby Johnston, Tim Whitman, Drago, Kia, Kenny Pryor, and in the nets will be P.J. Johns, 6'2", 175, out of University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. You see the saves. That is number 2 in the league, and a goal against average of 6.25. And for Houston, Gary Young, Damian Harley, the defenders, starting midfielder Zion Allen and Mark McKay, and Beto will be going up front primarily this evening. And for the Hotshots, it'll be Terry Waldorf. He's the goalkeeper, a goal against average of 7.02 and 310 saves. And we're all set. Well, both these teams started out strong last night and then could not hold on, and that's been somewhat their story throughout the season. Tonight, somebody's got to have a successful evening. And there's Trevor Dawkins hoping it's his club. Trevor in his first season here. And you see some familiar faces. Paul Child is the head coach on the opposing side for the Pittsburgh Stingers in his second year. But Dawkins, who coached at Canton in the North, or the NPSL, and there's a number of players on this Pittsburgh team who most recently played for Canton. As you look at Paul Child, who's 19 and 35, and now his second year with the Stingers.
Paul Child's a man who was back in the United States at the beginning of the North American Soccer League with San Jose Earthquakes and made a name for himself there as a player. Came to the Pittsburgh Spirit of the MISL and is now a head coach. So he's somebody who's dedicated quite a lot of years to the development and in a participatory manner, part of the growth of soccer in America at the professional level.
And we're underway with the Hotshots and the Pittsburgh Stingers. Hotshots, the red and gold, the Stingers in the black and yellow, as Houston to get a free kick just 5 seconds in after the ball going out of play. Coming to Beto and back to Terry Waldorf. Chips the long ball looking for Allen. Headed back up front. And back inside and nicely screened for P.J. Johns and his long toss. Headed back to the Stingers. And Beto actually off his forehead.
And once again, we talk about these two teams, Bill, coming in on flights this afternoon and heading right to the summit after tough games last night. So, you know, that's something, this pace of this game may be a little bit slower based on them both playing last night.
Diving stop on a ball rolling very close to the nets by Waldorf. Yeah, San Diego last night winning 7-5 over Houston. The Hotshots got in mid-afternoon and came right to the arena to put on a clinic. Here are the Hotshots on the attack. Allen leaves it out front for Lopez. And back across to Gary Young, and now out to Waldorf. Just a minute in, Houston and Pittsburgh, and Waldorf taking his time. Off the boards, Mark McKay. Allen trying to help out, now to Harley.
Right now, Houston with a little bit more ball possession here. And as we said, it is a bit slower game, so teams will probably be picking and choosing when they speed the game up based on attacking opportunities going forward, like right now.
Kia, long ball to Jason Davis. Davis tied up in the corner by Harley, and Lopez collapses on him as well. And then it comes off fighting for it, Bobby Johnston, and a foul is called.
Yeah, Johnson with two arms there just grabs the Houston player along the boards and commits the foul.
Johnston out of James Madison University.
McKay comes in, blocks the ball, and Johnson with two arms just kind of drags McKay down, and there's an obvious foul.
13-19, clock reads, first period, no score. Beto battling for it, triple team as Kelly came close and kicks it back out front to Chico Moreira. Moreira did not play last night, broke a consecutive game string for Chico.
So we may see some fresher legs on him tonight. We'll see if he can take advantage of that, possibly coming out of the back on occasion, trying to get forward.
Waldorf with no threat, plenty of time to set things up.
Here we see number 15 in your picture, Marcio Lette, and he's back from the Pittsburgh Spirit MISL days, so there's a little nostalgia going on here with Drago and Lette. Brazilian with good skills.
Hard shot and a nice stop as Gardner got a good foot on it. John Gardner, 27-year-old who played 7 years in the NPSL, stopped by P.J. Johns.
Good shot by Gardner, but really no trouble for P.J. Johns.
Beto with the block, headed back the other way for the Sting, though. Stingers. You see that yellow and black, and you've been around soccer, it's hard for me not to think of the Chicago Sting.
Boy, yeah, and the uniforms somewhat resemble them, too, so let's make sure we don't say Karl-Heinz Granitza tonight.
Or Pato Marhetic. I don't think those two will be Certainly Marhetic will not be mistaken for Drago. If you ever saw Pato Marhetic with the long flowing locks, and you look at the bald one there, Drago with the ball.
Yep.
Top of the circle and taken away. Gardner chips it back out. Headed back the other way and now settled by Houston's Finidori. Beto. No score, 11:57 to play, first period. Finidori trying to leave a ball on. Barrera could not rush onto it. Johns with the pickup. Here come the Stingers. Long toss all the way down to Waldorf.
And right off the bat here, P.J. Johns is really looking early to get some early throws and good distribution out to his Pittsburgh people running forward. And this is always going to be looking to do that quite a bit tonight.
Johns has a couple of assists this year. Waldorf has got 5. He had one last night.
Oh, and we can't underestimate or ever downplay the importance of distribution by goalkeepers indoors.
Ball headed inside and settled now by Pittsburgh. And coming all the way out is Johns this time. Gave himself enough chance to recover. Back out, Lopez couldn't control. And then Gardner again with a hard shot. And the ball deflects around again. Anybody's soccer ball. Now controlling things, Kenny Pryor. He's got 18 goals this season.
And both these teams have had at times this year problems with possession. So we'll see which one of them decides tonight really wants the ball here and keeps the ball more in this game, which is going to be very important coming off playing last night. Saves your legs having the ball.
Johns to Drago. Drago up the field to Jason Davis. Back to Drago. 10:42 remaining first period. Zip, zip, Houston and Pittsburgh. Bill Land and Glenn Davis with you here at the Summit. Davis back. And again, it'll be Johns. And to Whitman, who just came on. Tim, 5'7", 145. 12 years of indoor play.
Boy, he had some great seasons in the MISL and MLS, and he's another guy with experience that's been added to this Pittsburgh team this year.
And back to Jason Davis and Drago for the Stingers. Both teams being very cautious, trying to protect the ball, keep possession. Drago, it'll give and go, chip back, and it comes off to Ziad Allen. Taken away by Juan Carlos Sanchez. Inside Drago with a one-touch back, and upper deck it goes in row 27.
Boy.
By Juan Carlos Sanchez.
Ball played into Drago there. Drago just with the inside of his foot. I don't know if he could do much with that. Comes back out to number 9, Sanchez, and that ball gets roped into the upper deck here. And we've seen that on a couple occasions this year.
9:50 the clock reads in a scoreless game between Pittsburgh and Houston. Stingers knock it back out. It's headed back down by Young. Back out to Otto, and then Beto with a shot that was blocked, and Houston recovers with Waldorf. Early shots on goal, 3-zip. Houston there. Leon tried to come up with it, lost it to Kia. And the Stingers again trying to get something going with Drago.
Yeah, and let's mention Kia. He was another all-star for Pittsburgh this year, and he's played many, many years back in the American Indoor Soccer Association. And he was the all-time leading career points man in that league, but he's had a very, very good career indoor soccer-wise. Somebody very dangerous you've got to keep an eye on.
29 years old, actually played high school soccer in Scottsdale, Arizona. Born in Iran.
And he's not one of the bigger players in the league, but boy, he's definitely effective, and you got to keep an eye on him.
Ball headed back by Davis. Comes to the Hotshots. Young tried to clear it upfield, and Waldorf has to head it out as it came across the line. And a foul will be called as Beto going after it that time with Tim Whitman.
See the mask on Beto there for a fractured nose he's got. Here's Beto and Whitman going for the challenge, and I guess Whitman gets his elbow up a little bit into the back ahead of Beto, drawing the free kick for Houston. Aggressive challenge there, but that's part of the indoor game.
Two teams, and there's an open net, and a goal for Pittsburgh is Alan Hall.
My goodness. How do you describe that? Terry Waldorf off his line on the right, getting out to support Barrera. Barrera on the ball gets deflected away, and it rolls into the empty net. Here it is again. Tackle in by Home. And Waldorf was off his line looking for the ball from Barrera. Look at him chasing fruitlessly back as he watches the ball roll into the back of the net. Boy.
So Alan Holm gets his 4th goal of the season, 25-year-old out of Carnegie Mellon College, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh.
It's a crazy game.
Boy, there is proof. 8:07 to go. The goal officially credited at 6:41 into the period. Waldorf kicks this one out. Finidori got a touch on it. Coming back to help is Chris Duke. And now Lopez taken down, and we'll have a penalty.
Taken down by the same man who just scored the goal home.
I would think he's going to be sent off. You're talking about a scoring chance here.
Here's Lopez, knocks it in behind Holm, and Holm just takes Lopez's legs out, and Lopez careens to the ground, drawing the foul, and this should be a blue card.
And a power play as Holm will go home to the box as Paul Child talked this one over. And we'll take a break with a timeout call. Pittsburgh wants to visit here and see if they can protect their 1-0 lead. It's the Stingers over the Hotshots. Power play coming up for Houston when we return.
Honey, what you doing?
Just fixing that little dent.
Hey, that looks great. How'd you do it?
It's easy. With Bondo UV. Bondo UV comes ready to use. Just apply Bondo UV in the shade, then put the repair in the sun, and let Bondo's revolutionary solar-activated hardener go to work. Sand the area, finish it with Marhide paint, and you've got the perfect repair.
You know, this would be great for home repair, too.
Bondo UV, the revolution in body fillers from Bondo.
I'm Walt Maddox, and I'm a very lucky person. During the past school year, I've talked to over 50,000 students about a dream. It's part of my high-impact school assembly program designed to motivate kids and to have a goal in life, a dream. And if they use drugs or alcohol, dreams can be destroyed. Thanks to the Pittsburgh Automobile Trade Association and the support of local dealers, the project has been a big success. Today's car dealers really care. They're helping to protect our most important asset, our children.